Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. You're nearly there, end of the week. Got like a day and a half left and it's the weekend. Football's back. The rugby's on Saturday. I'll be watching that. Well, the rugby's on Friday, but the real one's on Saturday. And we've got a lot of football going on this weekend. And even if Spurs lose, they don't ruin your weekend. They ruin your Monday at least. But anyway, we're talking transfers in this video anyway. One in, one out, midfield situation. So we're going to be talking a little bit around the two guys that you see on the thumbnail, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Kalvin Phillips. And I'm really interested by the Kalvin Phillips thing. Not only that, yes, the interest's still there, the rumours are still there, the links are still there, but also there are developments to those situations. There are also developments to the Højbjerg situation. So plenty of good information to get through today. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to start, excuse me, I'm going to start with, I'd say Pierre Højbjerg, because we need to get the one out to get the one in. That's the way this is going to work. And this comes from Fabrizio Romano himself, the main guy, the big cheese. And he said that Pierre-Emile Højbjerg remains open to moving away from Tottenham Hotspur in January. However, it will, of course, require the green light from Spurs. It is true that Juventus are one of the clubs keeping tabs on the situation. They are not the only one. And I think I've been kind of consistent with this narrative that yes, Højbjerg is probably moving on. Yes, he's got new representatives. Yes, we had interest in the summer from not only Atletico Madrid, but also Fulham. But also, normally what happens is you get injuries. I mean, you've got this Juventus situation with Pogba testing positive for testosterone. You've got the Fagioli betting scandal. He's banned for 7 months. Things like that obviously then open doors up to, but the fact we need to get someone in now. We need a midfielder in here because we've lost two. You know, yes, you might have some youth guys to come through, but you could do with having someone that's ready to go now as well. Especially for a big club like Juventus in the Serie A. You know, I know they've had a bit of a downward trend of recent, but they definitely want to pick it back up and get back to the top of Serie A where they were for so long. The fact that they has other suitors, though, I've been consistent on this. You know, the fact that Bayern still want Paulinho, which may then in turn make Fulham still want a midfielder. You know, they looked at McTominay and they looked at Højbjerg. You've then got the situation with Roma and Jose likes him and they're thinking about, you know, how can we get Pierre over here? But they've got FFP issues. You then got Juventus, obviously, like I said, the fact that testosterone for Pogba and the ban for Fagioli, you're losing two guys for a long-term period. But you've still also got Atletico Madrid who are still keeping tabs. So he actually has a decent market. And that's not to say that someone else doesn't come in that we don't expect to see. You know, that's the thing that I want to, you know, maintain there. There's no reason why there's someone else doesn't come in. And I think that's the key thing we have to remember here. He has a market. Spurs, I think Spurs will look to exploit said market for their gain, for their benefit, to bring in a player that maybe Ange thinks suits him better. And it's, you know, I think a lot of people kind of go, no, we need to keep Højbjerg, we need to keep Højbjerg, we need to keep Højbjerg. I'm not saying we don't or do. What I am saying is, in this system, it requires you to be a bit more technically gifted. He's kind of fallen down the pecking order as well. He's a guy that's played a lot of football at Spurs and he wants to continue playing week in, week out football. We are not going to be able to offer that. Yes, he'll probably play on Monday night against Fulham because obviously Bissouma's suspended. As soon as Bissouma's back off suspension, he'll come back into the team. Bentancur is our best midfielder since he's joined. So you're looking at the fact that once he's back up to full steam, he'll probably come in and play more regular minutes. So that's the issue. And then he's probably looking at going, look, I'm 28, I want to play regular football. And there's nothing wrong with that. He has his benefits, but I would say he has his benefits in situations where, look, we're down to 10 men like we were against Luton. We're holding on to leads. If we ever chase a game or we want to win the game, it doesn't suit him as much. And that's the point I've always made. Good player, but it's probably about right for the move on situation. And it's good to get some fresher blood in that Ange really thinks is going to benefit him better, you know? So let's talk about the guy that potentially Ange might want. And this comes from Matt Law, who put out that Tottenham's new technical director, Johan Lang, obviously starting on November 1st, is a big fan of Kalvin Phillips and he could hit the North London club's radar should Pierre-Emile Højbjerg leave in January. Now, I talked previously that Spurs do have an interest in Kalvin Phillips. What I've also talked about is the fact that with the new data system of Johan Lang, does Kalvin Phillips tick the boxes on the data system? Potentially, I don't know. I don't know what the data system truly looks like. I don't think any of us truly know. What obviously we would do is we would be getting a replacement before we move Højbjerg on. We want to make sure that we have that deal virtually done, that we can move him on, so we're not waiting around, we're not in limbo, we're not losing out on a player for the squad. Now, the reason why I don't think we'll be the team to get Kalvin Phillips, and I'm going to add some substance to this opinion as well, the reason why I don't think we get him is a few different reasons. He's not going to be a starter at Spurs. Basuma is the guy in that position. Basuma's been fantastic this year. If he can stop being a bit petulant at times, we'd have him a little bit more than normal. What I also find is he's going to be on big wages. Spurs aren't going to want to pay those sort of big wages. We're not that kind of club, right? Another thing to that. What does the fee look like? You know, I don't see Man City looking at Spurs as their rival. They're serious issues for us. I don't see that right now. That's not to say it can't be like that, but Spurs have dealt with City in the past. You think of Kyle Walker. That deal got done pretty quickly. So, you know, I think a lot of people go, why would they want to sell to us? It's nothing to do with the league position. Yes, we're on top, but let's be frank. I don't think we're sitting there at the end of the season. I don't think Man City think we're sitting there at the end of the season. Now, they might have looked at Arsenal and gone, oh, we moved 2 players to Arsenal. Look what happened to them. Okay, well, you moved 2 players to Arsenal who are both playing week in, week out football. Kalvin Phillips, if you don't truly rate him, you don't really mind where he goes because you don't think he's going to cause that much of an upswing in his performance to become, you know, where we all thought Kalvin Phillips might go to. And the last thing, and this is where the substance comes in, because I did find this through the Telegraph, that Kalvin Phillips could be handed a England lifeline as Juventus and Newcastle could offer him a exit from Man City. Now, that's key. Juventus, we talked, Pogba and Fagioli, but also Newcastle, because Sandro Tonali is involved in this betting scandal. And it came out yesterday that he has bet on AC Milan games when he was playing. Yes, it was for AC Milan to win, but he's still betting on your team. He's going to get banned for a long time as well. I think you're going to see Højbjerg move on. I do think you're going to see Højbjerg move on. I don't see it being Kalvin Phillips. That's my true and honest opinion. Now, if Ange wants Kalvin Phillips and Johan Lang signs off and Kalvin Phillips and everything's all good to go, then fine, let's bring him in. Because I'm all for what Ange wants, what the data system has drawn up, and what's going to benefit the club. I'd be interested to see what sort of money, because they paid 50 million for Kalvin Phillips, and I don't think he's probably worth half of that at the moment. If you've watched him recently, he's been a bit of a passenger in games, even when he plays for England. The fact he plays for England, no offence to Kalvin Phillips, not at all. He finds it quite funny he can get anything in the squad, but the fact we're picking players that have played 3 minutes of football this season, oh yeah, come on to the England squad, you know, it's a bit of a weird one. Southgate's a bit of a weird one, if I'm honest. But yeah, a bit of an interesting one today. I think you're going to find we're going to have a midfielder join in January. I think you're going to see Højbjerg move on because he wants regular football. But we shall see. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy it. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comments section below. If Højbjerg was to go, would you want Phillips in? And if you don't want Phillips, where do you think Spurs might go? Obviously, be realistic. Okay, I know some of you are. You like to think a little bit higher above. Got to remember it's Spurs. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're about to hit 1400, which is super cool and exciting. And hit the bell notification for because I will have another video out later with more transfer news. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.